You will keep my mother's name out your mouth. Do you understand that?
I'm not
No,
talking
what
about
you will
your
not do.
mother.
Yes, you are. You're talking about my mother's funeral.
I'm not talking about your mother. I'm talking
Sharice,
about
that is not your end to this group.
I'm talking about
That is not your end to this group.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, Brooke Ashley, and today we are here to discuss The Real Housewives of Potomac, Season 7, Episode 13. And let me just start off by saying that I am completely and utterly confused. What the entire F happened between Karen and Sharice, where you have Karen screaming, I'm just, oh, let me bring it back. Let me calm down. But I don't like being confused. And Karen, I think that you're reaching. You have not been able to give us a clear and concise reason as to why you dislike Sharice this much. By no means am I a big Sharice fan, but I have to be fair, because you cannot tell me that what Sharice said at that dinner warranted Karen's reaction. It was way too extreme. Karen went from 0 to 100 like that. I was like, wait, what's going on? I had to rewatch this episode 3 times and I am still confused. So if you guys wouldn't mind helping me down in the comments, because your girl is lost. But guys, with all that being said, let's just jump right on into it, because you guys already know that we don't have a minute to spare. We opened the episode up with Karen at home. She's packing for Mexico. We learned that this Mexico trip is for Ashley's birthday. So she's excited. She's telling Ray that while she wants to have a good time, a lot of these women can't stand each other. You have Gizelle versus Candace. You've got Wendy not talking to half the cast. You have her and Mia having their issues. So she's just praying that they all have a good time. And I said, but when have any of these cast trips ever gone well? Across the board, it's always drama. So that is wishful thinking to think that it's going to be smooth sailing. And we also learned that Karen, Ashley, and Wendy are going to go ahead to Mexico first to make sure that everybody's satisfied with their rooms. Now, I was thinking, I already know that this trip is going to be 10 times better than Mia's Miami trip, so I don't know why anybody would have an issue with their room. It's going to be nice. They're going to be at a gorgeous 5-star resort. Mia can't say the same, but again, I digress. But yeah, I don't understand why they're being so dramatic by going ahead of the other women. But you know what? They're on a reality show, and anything for some heightened drama. Now, this next scene with Gizelle in the car, she's on her way home from the doctor, and she's on the phone with Robyn. So we learned from Gizelle that for the past 3 years, her doctors have been monitoring her because her fibroids are huge. So we also learned that she has to have a full-blown hysterectomy, and she's nervous. Now, I said, Gizelle, this is what we want to see. More on your life and what you're going through, and less of trying to destroy people's marriages and lying on people's husbands. Less of that, more of this. If Gizelle actually tried, she could have a decent storyline. Gizelle is actually tolerable when we see her vulnerable, not stirring up mess. Because when she was saying that she's nervous to have this surgery, and I was like, yeah, again, more of this. Show us the actual human side of you, Gizelle. That's what viewers want to see. But Gizelle goes on to add that she's not trying to mess up her daughter's summer. She wants to take them to Martha's Vineyard later on in the summer. Now, I said shout out to Martha's Vineyard, especially if you grew up in Jack and Jill. You know all about Martha's Vineyard in the summer. So now they change topics and they bring up Karen's live show. So they're shading the live show. Robyn says that she was confused by the whole thing. It was too many people on stage. And I said, for once, I finally agree, because Karen's live show was all over the place. If you caught my last recap, I couldn't stop laughing. That's how bad it was. I mean, I didn't know what Karen was doing. All in all, I found Karen's show to be a hot mess. But I said again, Robyn and Gizelle, not too much, because your live show wasn't any better. I think that all of y'all might need to table these live shows and just stop. So Gizelle brings up the fact that Charisse was excluded from going to Karen's live show, and she's like, why would you do that? You invited everybody else except for Charisse, really? And then Robyn says that it felt deliberate with Karen not inviting Charisse. Now I said, hold on, let's not, because the both of y'all iced Wendy out when you guys were in Miami. I didn't forget about that. So the audacity for you to be concerned about Charisse, who's not even a full-time cast member, being iced out and excluded, how dare you? Charisse will be okay if she's not invited to every single event. And Gizelle, the jokes truly write themselves, because you of all people calling somebody else mean, you're the biggest mean girl in this group. I was just like, do you guys not hear yourselves when you talk sometimes? Because I'm confused. It's the lack of self-awareness for me. It's just extremely hypocritical for you all to be upset with Karen for being mean, but you guys are always mean. And you always direct that energy towards Wendy and Candace. And Gizelle and Robyn, did you invite Wendy to your live show? I'll wait. So how dare you try to get on Karen about not inviting Charisse? But Gizelle saying that on the trip, she's hoping that Karen and Charisse can mend fences because she's tired of their beef. Now, first of all, Gizelle, stay out of it. Why are you always inserting yourself in other people's drama? It shouldn't concern you. Also, you have enough to worry about. You're fighting with Wendy and Candace. So, again, if you want to mend fences, maybe work on mending fences between them. The same way that you're tired of Karen and Charisse's beef, I'm tired of you lying on people's husbands. This next scene with Robyn at home, we can just breeze right on through it because it was boring. It felt like a filler scene, and I don't care anymore about this so-called wedding with her and Juan. I was irritated watching it. To have Robyn telling her boys that they're gonna get married finally, and how it's going to be an intimate ceremony with just the four of them. And even her youngest son was looking at her like, girl, please. So you've been engaged for all this time for you guys to not have a big wedding ceremony? So what about our grandparents? They're not gonna be there? Robyn, this makes no sense and you know it. Why would you go through all this trouble to get remarried again and then not invite the people important to you guys? At least have your parents there and some of your friends there. It's just so dumb. At this point, Robyn, nobody cares anymore. You and Juan need to go down to the courthouse and call it a day. Robyn is determined to beat this storyline to death, and I'm not here for it.
No.
I'm not gonna stay around till season 8, 9, and 10 for them to finally get married. Like, no, it's enough already. Now we jump to Mia at home, or should I say at their rental that they're no longer in. If you haven't seen Mia's recent Instagram post, well, they are back in the penthouse in Baltimore. They are no longer in Potomac. And I said, wow. So you spent all that money in rent, and you paid all that money. I think she said in the first episode, they spent $65,000 in renovations for a rental. What was it all for, sis? So anyhow, Mia's in their home office. She calls Gordon in. She's talking about how busy she is and she's so tired. It's just so hard being a so-called boss. And I was thinking, girl, please. And every time we did see Mia being a CEO, all she was doing was shuffling some brochures around. What was she really doing? But we see Mia asking Gordon if he remembered to sign up for one of the kids' activities at school. Gordon looks so lost. He's like, wait, what? I mean, no. And she's reminding him that he needs to because she's going to be away in Mexico with the girls. Now, I'm going to ask you all for your help, so just bear with me. I want to make sure that I heard this right. Let me know down in the comments. Mia brings up Jacqueline and how Jacqueline is upset with her regarding Jacqueline's kids. Jacqueline feels slighted because she feels like Mia could have helped her out with her girls. But Mia continues on by saying that Jacqueline's sister is their nanny. And there are times where Jacqueline can't find anybody to help watch her kids. So Mia will offer and say, hey girl, bring your kids over to my house and your sister will watch all the kids together just to help Jacqueline out. But Mia says that she gets tired of doing that because it's not her responsibility and it's not fair. Now, my assessment of this whole thing was Mia feels like Jacqueline is taking advantage of her. Am I right in my assessment? Am I off? Let me know. Now, I don't have kids as of yet, but for all my parents out there, would you be upset if one of your close friends was always asking if your sitter or nanny could watch their kids too? Let me know. I feel like I don't really have a dog in this fight since I don't have kids yet. But do you think that Mia has the right to be upset, or is she being nasty? But I was so confused, like, wait, what? I mean, if her sister is your nanny, I don't think it should be a problem if Jacqueline drops her kids off as well, since that's their aunt who'd be watching them. No, I don't know. I was just so confused. Now, what did come to mind about why Mia is so annoyed about that? I guess because the cost of adding Jacqueline's kids in the mix, it goes up. Because watching 5 kids is a lot. So I guess that's the reason why Mia gets annoyed about it. But again, I don't really have a dog in this fight and I want to get your opinion. If you were Mia, would you be mad at Jacqueline for dropping her kids off with your nanny? Let me know down below. Now, Mia is saying it without saying it, but I'm getting the impression that Mia feels like she's always helping Jacqueline out and she's tired of it. And she's also hinting at their friendship being uneven, where she's always the giver and Jacqueline's always taking. That's the impression that I get from this conversation. So now it's the day of the Mexico trip, and you guys already know that Karen, Wendy, and Ashley are headed off to Mexico first. Because remember that Karen said that they wanted to go ahead of everybody to make sure that everybody likes their rooms. So they're off, they land in Mexico, and we see them in the car on their way to the hotel. Karen's asking Ashley what the plans are. Ashley says that she wants them all to be immersed in the culture, not just sit around drinking margaritas by the beach. And again, she's excited because Mexico is one of her favorite places. She used to go there all the time with Michael. And Ashley, do us all a favor. Please stop bringing up Michael Darby. We don't want to see this man. We don't want to hear this man's name. We don't care where you and Michael used to go. We don't care what you used to do with that man. Please, stop saying that man's name. So they arrive to the resort, and the resort looks beautiful. And I said, Mia, once again, please take notes on how to throw a proper luxury vacation, because what you did about that Miami trip was a hot mess. So now we flip back to everybody else, and they have also just landed in Mexico, but we learned that there's some tension between Jacqueline and Mia. We find out from Robyn and Gizelle that Mia and Jacqueline got into it when they were on the plane. So Gizelle says they showed their entire asses in first class. So you have Mia talking about Jacqueline's not a good mom, needs to raise her kids. Jacqueline's cursing Mia out. I was like, really? So while they're all waiting for their luggage, Jacqueline is pissed. She's sitting down. Mia's telling Robyn, Gizelle, and Candace what happened between them. And she says that the other day, her nanny, who's also Jacqueline's sister, and by the way, Jacqueline's sister is Tita Talks. Tita Talks has a YouTube channel, and if you guys don't know, she made some waves. She was airing out all the mess between Jacqueline and Mia and all of Mia's lies. But anyhow, Mia goes on to say that her nanny was looking for Jacqueline's kids, and so Mia was like, well, Jacqueline, you're sitting right there. Go and find your kids. Like, your kids are not my responsibility. So Jacqueline was offended hearing that, and she told Mia, well, it takes a village to raise a child. And Mia was upset because she thought that was a low blow because she didn't have a village to raise her. And then we see Mia telling them that that's why Jacqueline doesn't have any friends. Now I said, Mia, that's real rich coming from you because you fall out with everybody. So, I mean, not too much. I don't know how anybody could stand to be around you You have a nasty attitude. You lie about everything. So not too much on your friend. Now, when they got in the Sprinter van to head to the hotel, I completely forgot that Charisse was there. Charisse is on that Sprinter van, and I swear to you, y'all, this is no shade, but Charisse always looks so disheveled. I mean, Charisse, you're on national TV. Come on. Charisse has too much money to be looking the way she does. Like, she didn't look like she was going to Mexico. She looked like she was going to run errands. But of course, Robyn can't help herself. She says that she's curious to see how Karen acts around Charisse. So now Charisse says, well, yeah, I'm curious too, because she was telling Mia that I bring a dark cloud over the group. And then we have Gizelle saying that they're gonna settle this once and for all. And I'm thinking, again, why do y'all care so much? I mean, just leave it alone. Gizelle, you have other things to worry about. Focus on why you're lying on Chris Bassett. Let's focus on that. I don't understand why you are just so pressed to have Karen and Charisse talk. If they don't want to talk, they don't want to talk. Leave it alone. And if I'm being honest, the Karen and Charisse beef isn't that interesting. Like, I don't really care. So if they don't ever speak again, I'm cool. If they do speak, that's cool too. But yeah, it's definitely not that interesting for us to still be talking about this. And Charisse is a friend of the show. Let's start there. Now, I wouldn't say that Charisse brings a dark cloud over the group. I just think that she's boring. So they all arrive to the resort, and of course, Ashley, Karen, and Wendy are in the lobby to greet them. And now Karen says, okay, guys, we're not gonna change. Follow me into the lounge because I have a surprise for you. They go in the lounge and it's set up for Ashley's birthday. They have balloons, food, champagne, and that food looks so good. You guys already know my mouth was watering. So before anybody can take a bite of food, you have Jacqueline saying that she's not going to sit next to Mia because Mia is the devil. So they're all like, what is going on? The next thing we know, Jacqueline and Mia are going at it. So Mia's trying to calm things down. She's like, look, me and Jacqueline are sisters. We fight like sisters. We fight every single day. This fight is nothing. So Jacqueline does not agree at all. She's like, this is our worst fight yet. Like, no, this is bad. I don't want to talk to you. I'm pissed at you. Like, we're not coming back from this. So now Mia says, girl, we got into a fight 20 years ago where you threw a brick at me when we were teenagers, all because you couldn't copy my math homework. I was like, damn, you know how strong you have to be to throw a brick? So Jacqueline says that Mia is controlling and how Mia always turns on her. So here's where things go left. Jacqueline says that Mia needs some more dick to calm down. So now Mia's like, oh, okay, you want to play this game? Let's talk about all your dicks. You're feeling yourself a bit too much. Let's calm it down. And by the way, keep your legs closed to married men, bitch. So they're all like, wait, what just happened? I was confused. I had to play that part back because I said, wait, whoa, how do we go from angry about a nanny situation to now keep your legs closed to married men, bitch? Like, let me know. I'm confused. Also, Mia, Nene said that line in season 1 of Atlanta. So now Jacqueline gets up, she starts screaming, and she's like, Mia, I am so effing done with you. You sold your soul to the devil. I was like, well, damn. I said, not sold your soul to the devil, not Satan. So now Jacqueline starts sobbing about how she has always fought for Mia her entire life. And then she says, and I would never F your husband.
I would never sleep with your husband. What the I would never do this to you.
So Charisse, everybody else is confused. Charisse says, Jacqueline, she never said you did F her husband. Where is this coming from? So now you have Candace trying to talk to Mia. She's like, Mia, please talk to your friend. Then you have Wendy over there consoling Jacqueline. Now Wendy and Candace, I have to get on you guys yet again Because why are you guys always trying to befriend the enemy? Candace, the way Mia and Jacqueline have treated you, why are you trying to help them? I would have been sitting there eating my food, minding my business. Wendy, nobody helped you out when you were assaulted by Mia, so why are you trying to console Jacqueline? I think it's so funny that the two people on this cast who are treated the worst, they're always the first ones consoling and comforting people who have wronged them, but when it's their time of need, nobody's there for them, and I'm tired of it. And Jacqueline, it's so funny because when you guys were in Miami, you were all up in Robyn and Gizelle's faces the entire time, trying to be real close with them. And now when you're crying and hurt, they're nowhere to be found. They're just watching you cry. So Mia goes on to say that she's grateful for everything that Jacqueline and her mom did for her as a teen, but she feels like when it comes to Jacqueline, that she's the checkbook. She's always helping Jacqueline out. So let's just dissect this part, right? Because I think that is some unspoken tension between the both of them. With Jacqueline, I wouldn't be surprised if she's thrown it in Mia's face that she did take care of Mia and that they opened up their home to Mia. Because of that, I wouldn't be surprised if Jacqueline feels like, well, you owe me. I helped you out all these years. My mom took you in. She was a good mom to you. So now, whatever I want, you have to do. And I think that Mia probably feels tired of this being thrown in her face. And she's like, well, okay, thank you for what you did do, but we're past that now. And I shouldn't feel obligated to help you out every single time you need something. So I think that they both feel entitled to each other's resources. And they're both resentful of each other because of that. Whereas Jacqueline had the upper hand back in the day, but now Mia has the upper hand, and now Jacqueline feels, well, okay, we helped you out when you were younger, so now help me out today. And that's why they're clashing. I don't know, just a theory that popped in my head, but that's the impression that I get from both of them, where they both feel like you owe me. I also get the impression that Mia feels resentful of bringing Jacqueline on this show. Maybe she feels like this was my thing, and now I have Jacqueline horning in on it and becoming friends with my friends. So I think that there might be some tension about this show as well. Again, I could be way off in my assessment, but I really wouldn't be surprised because the way they blew up at each other, the way that Jacqueline said that she's done and she wants to throw 30 years away, there's been some underlying tension for quite some time. But anyhow, everybody's shocked. The whole vibe has been ruined. Candace says, look, let's all relax. This is obviously a domestic issue between them. Let's all just calm it down. So now Gizelle says, yeah, let's table all of this. So Karen says that she agrees. She's like, yeah, let's table this conversation and let's go out to the beach because I have another surprise for you all. They all go out on the beach and the surprise is Karen has hired a shaman. So, of course, he's doing the cleansing exercises with all of them. He's asking them all about their intentions. You have Ashley saying that her intention is to have a good time and be happy. And then you have Cherise saying that she wants everybody in this group to find happiness. So you have Karen rolling her eyes, making faces while Cherise is talking. And then she says, I don't understand why this leprechaun keeps popping out, like, leave us alone. I feel like Karen is determined to find an issue with Cherise. Like, there is nothing that Cherise can do or say that will make Karen happy. Now, I touched on this in my Miami recap, but it seems like the newest craze on these Housewives trips are getting a shaman, because we've seen it on SLC, Miami, and now Potomac. I'm like, okay, who's next? And y'all keep doing these healing exercises and there's no healing. You guys will still be at each other's throats in the next scene. So I'm thinking, did this really work? But the healing session with the shaman is over and now we see everybody hugging it out. Jacqueline is still angry, so she refuses to hug Mia. And Mia's like, yup, you see, she's still angry. Now I said, Jacqueline girl, you guys just got here. Put a smile on your face, please. Have some fun. I'll be damned if I allow Mia to get me this upset. You're getting a free 5-star vacation and you're only a friend of the show? Enjoy it. So now it's time for the ladies to have dinner, and we see Ashley, Karen, and Gizelle arrive to the restaurant first. So they're making small talk. Ashley's asking about Gizelle's dating life. Gizelle says that she went on a date with her friend Steve. Now we remember Steve because he was her friend that they all met when they were in New Orleans in season 3. And Gizelle says that she's known him for over 30 years. He's always been a good friend that she'll call on. And we find out that they kissed after their date. So Ashley's like, oh my gosh, like, yes, come through. And then we have one of the producers asking Gizelle what she's looking for in a man, and she says somebody to make her laugh and a man with a big dick. When it comes to Gizelle and her love life, it always feels like she's dating somebody from her past, because we saw her in season 5 try to rekindle things with Jamal. That didn't work. And now you're talking about this man from 30 years ago. Like, girl, I guess, but good luck to you. So we see Charisse strolling in. Of course, Karen makes a face. And mind you, Charisse is sitting directly across from Karen at the table. So we see Wendy and Mia join them. They're in good spirits. And now we see Candace and Jacqueline arrive. So I was thinking, now Candace, to see you now be best friends with Jacqueline is blowing me, because this woman was cursing you out and being super nasty when you guys were in Miami, and now you guys are super tight where you're strolling into dinner together? Absolutely not. Before I forget, one thing about Candace, Candace will always have a sleek bob. My girl loves a bob. And then Robyn finally strolls in. Now, I was surprised that Robyn was sitting at the head of the table. I thought that Ashley would be at the head of the table since it is her birthday, but whatever. So they're all sitting down. The food comes out. Those tacos looked amazing. They had churros. And again, my mouth was watering, okay? I mean, salivating as we speak. So Robyn's telling the story of how Ashley and Karen put a veil in her goodie bag and she wore it on the balcony, and the wind was blowing so hard, it blew the veil right off of her. So you have Karen being real shady, and she's like, yeah, even the veil said, bye, bitch, because the veil knows that you're not getting married. It's not happening with that fake ass ring. I was like, Karen. One thing about it, Karen will never let Robyn rest regarding this whole wedding. She has been on Robyn and Juan since the beginning. She has never believed that their relationship was real or that they would actually get back together. I mean, every season you can see Karen saying, okay, so when are you getting married? So now Gizelle jumps in and jokes around that she got a flashlight in her goodie bag. They all start laughing. Mia doesn't find it funny because we all know what the flashlight's referring to. Then you have Candace asking them if they look at their vaginas in the mirror. So Candace says that she wants to look at hers before it gets all stretched out when she has kids. So we learn that Candace is going to go through the whole IVF process again, and she's hoping for a successful egg retrieval this time around. So the conversation is going along well. They're all getting along for the most part. But now here's where things go left. Gizelle interjects and she says, I have to make a confession. Charisse, I told Karen that the reason why you dropped that video in the group chat was because you weren't invited to the live show. And in case anybody's lost about what video Gizelle's referring to, there was a video that Charisse took of Mia and Karen showing off their boobs when they were in the club in Miami. So that's the video that she's talking about. So Charisse says, well, no, that's not true because I didn't care about not being invited to Karen's live show. But what I will say is, when I dropped that video in the group chat, I didn't think that Karen would dislike the video. I thought that she would think it was funny. So Karen jumps in and she says, well, actually, I thought the video was funny. I didn't mind it. And I thought that you would have sent me that video directly and not in the chat. Now, I have to admit, I feel like Karen can be very passive aggressive when it comes to Charisse. I don't know if it's just me who feels that way, but I feel like Karen is not being upfront about why she can't stand Charisse. So now Karen says, you're the one who's begging me to be friends. So now Charisse says, okay, let me stop you right there, because I honestly don't mind if we're friends or if we're not friends. Like, I'm good. I would just prefer if you would tell me to my face that you don't want to be my friend versus going around and telling everybody else in the group. Like, be a woman about it. So of course, Karen's upset about that. She's like, Charisse, don't ever question my womanhood. Then she says that nobody's talked about Charisse in years, so Charisse needs to be quiet and sit down. And I have to be honest, it felt like Karen was being really combative for no reason. I think that it is fair to say, you know what, girl, just tell me so that I know what it is, versus you smiling in my face and then going behind my back talking about me and how much you can't stand me. So now Charisse says, Karen, when I was going through my divorce, did you reach out to me? Did you call me? When my father died, did you reach out to me? So Karen says, Charisse, stop. I sent you a text message offering my condolences when your father died. So now Charisse says, but Karen, when you lost your parents, I drove to see you. Let me say this. Regardless of how you feel about Charisse, if somebody went out of their way to send flowers, food, be with you when you lost your parents, I feel like you could have done more when Charisse lost her father. You definitely owed it to her to pick up the phone, give her a call, and say, Charisse, I am so sorry to hear about your father, and then send some flowers over or some food. That's just common courtesy. That's just respect. Regardless of where our friendship is now, you extended and showed me love when my parents passed, so I'm going to return the favor and show you that same love as well. So Karen dismisses that and she's like, Charisse, be quiet. You only did that to get back in the friendship circle. That's it and that's all. So here's where I need you all to help me out because I'm confused. Karen says, here's where I'm gonna check you. Keep my mother's name out your mouth. So Charisse, the rest of the table, along with myself and the other viewers, are all like, wait, what? What are you talking about? Nobody brought up your mother. Charisse says, again, Karen, what are you talking about? I'm talking about supporting you. Nobody mentioned anything about your mother. So at this point, Karen gets up, starts screaming. She's putting her finger in Charisse's face and she's like, you will not talk about my mother. Keep my mother's effing name out your mouth. So they're all confused. Charisse jumps up. You have her screaming and yelling. And I'm thinking, again, what the F happened? Karen, can you please explain to us, why do you hate Charisse this much? And I'm sorry, Karen, like I said at the beginning of this recap, this makes no sense. It feels like you're reaching and you're grasping at straws to have a moment. If you don't like Charisse, that's fine, but coming up with this bogus stuff about, well, I don't like you because you're talking about my mom, Karen, stop. This was a very sad attempt to get some camera time because, again, it makes no sense. Honestly, if I were Charisse, I wouldn't even entertain this. I would have gotten up from that table, went back to my room, and ordered some room service. But everybody was confused. You have Gizelle saying, what just happened? Why am I watching this geriatric fight go down? Did Charisse sleep with one of your boyfriends, Karen? Like, what's going on? Gizelle, I find it so funny that you want to pretend like you're so much younger than Karen. You're only 7 years younger than her. So the age jabs about her being geriatric and old, I mean, girl, you're right there. But yeah, the episode closes out with Karen and Charisse screaming at each other. Guys, I'm just confused. I need this to be explained to me at the reunion because things are not adding up. I'm not understanding why Charisse bothers Karen to this extent. Yes, Charisse is boring. Yes, she's a bit thirsty. It's clear that she wants to be back on this show as a full-time cast member. But for Karen to have all this hate for her, it's just not adding up. But guys, that was my recap. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. And you already know what to do. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you all later. Bye.